888-3500 to make your donation or go online to 1029thehog.com. Now, here's Bob and Brian.
I want to give the time, but I know you're not supposed to once you get out of morning drive. But I'm a morning drive guy, so let's just play this. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the studio from CBS 58.
Oh, I love rock.
16-time world champion?
Well, that's Ric Flair, but you know what I mean. I'm kind of in that category.
Lance Allen.
When the glass breaks, business is about to pick up. You know when Rock called me,
yeah,
he said, Bob and Brian are buying. And Carrie, I know you live this life. That's literally what he said. And I'm like, yeah. I am finally going to get a free lunch out of this. But to bring it all back to sports, these two guys, Carrie, I know Rock wouldn't lie, but these guys are like Randy Moss going over the mill with the alligator arms to their wallets. They won't. They got it. Come on. Where's the lie?
We just told you.
Brock, did you not say that? Bob and Brian are buying.
You were just, I'm a little surprised at this, Lance. Because
I'm coming in hot or what?
Because a free
he just handed you
Dr. Pepper.
Well, that was Rock. That wasn't you two.
But I'm the guy.
That's true.
Carrie's backing me up.
But when it was handed to you, I'm the guy who said, that's gratis. That's
Carrie. Your contribution to it.
Then Carrie did
Rock
the joke.
Goes and gets it for me. He says it's on the. Then he goes. It's on the house, by the way. Wow.
Drinks are on the house.
On the house.
By the way,
I'll buy my own drinks.
Oh my word! Brian? See what fun you're going to miss out at the MACC Fund golf outing this year when these two jokers roll in.
I can't golf
yourself?
in front of people.
Why not?
Just can't.
Why not?
Because what I do isn't really golf.
I know how he feels.
Is anything that anybody does really golf?
I don't know.
Boy, Lance,
He's talked to Andy North, and yes, that's
a great guy. It is true. I'm with you. If I get anything more than 20 to 25 people watching me when I play golf, I just fall apart. I'm like one of those people that literally thinks I'm going to drive.
I don't like the people in my foursome watching, to tell you the truth.
Golf coach watching.
Yeah.
And he has to watch.
That's true. I saw Bob take like a 9-iron after somebody like Elin Nordgren did after Tiger.
It's funny you mentioned that because I did name the sportscaster from this town that I jumped off my cart with a club at the Bob and Brian Open known as at Western Lakes.
Okay.
For a wisecrack that he said after it was a par 3 and there was some sort of speed measuring device or whatever, and he said something.
And you took your.
You took a 9-iron after?
And you gave him the
Yes. It was. You're right. It was that. It wasn't like he was really in.
Did you go soprano style and wrap it around his neck?
That was the impression I was trying to give to the people who are watching us. Can you name the sportscaster?
Rod Luck.
That was not Rod Luck, but you're on the right track. Tom Sutton played in the Bob and Brian Open.
Tom Sutton.
Wow. It was like a gag. He said I hit the ball. He said something about my golf game, disparaging, of course.
Yeah.
And I grabbed a club and I was like, Brian, the guy ought to let you.
I imagine it was really funny until you gave him 10 stitches. Then it got a little more serious after that.
Not the face.
Exactly. That's why I tell people, Carrie, all the time, don't touch the moneymaker. That's right. You can hit me anywhere else, but don't do anything here.
Jeez, Lance, are you like this every day at this time? You're wound up.
Lack of sleep.
You're wound up. Lance Allen
this morning.
He's energetic.
I'm energetic. You got to bring the thunder.
Do you feel the spring in the air? Is it the Final Four? Is it the Masters? Is it the baseball season is
speaking my language
going now? We have the draft and
toxic stuff the sea lions are eating.
They might bite.
Well, it's toxic, but there's something totally different in my system right now.
Do you know about that?
Yeah, I've heard about that.
Yeah, the sea lions are attacking.
They're like, what do they call them? Crazed. What did they say? Satanic. Like devil.
Demonic, I think was
demonic.
And they say movies are crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously.
Yeah.
No, I think it's all the above.
You're usually energetic when you usually show up and you're ready to go. But
I'm ready to go. But I'm really raring to go this today. Masters, you hit it. NCAA tournament.
Yes.
I love the Final Four.
Picks up again on Saturday night.
I'm in the hunt.
Does it feel, just stop there for a second, does it feel like it has been a long time since we played a college basketball game?
Yes.
For some reason?
I don't know why.
Yeah.
I would agree with the same thing. It's the games kind of stop.
Yeah.
Once you get to the Final Four, and then it seems like you wait and you wait and you wait.
And it's not like we haven't had other things to entertain us. We got the Bucks, the Brewers, it's opening day, all kinds of. We have the
NFL
torpedo
draft.
bat thing going on.
Right.
What's wrong with Brewer pitching?
They're
push talk.
They're playing the birthing person's basketball
No.
games.
That too.
There's that.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, and there's the Flag Football League that Mark Lasry, former Bucks owner, I don't know if you heard about that. He is one of 10 investor groups that want the NFL. You hear all this news leak out at the NFL annual meetings, one of which is the NFL wants to start a flag football league for men and for women. And Mark Lasry is one of the 10 investment groups. I think Serena Williams and her husband, they're another investment group. There's a bunch of people that want to invest in
again,
this.
I have to stop you.
Okay, time
that would
out.
be Serena's money because we have no idea what her husband.
He might be a very silent mogul, Bob. Come on now. We don't know these things.
Lance,
Could be.
Yes.
if you're going to be here, you got to tell it like it is.
You do? Okay, so I'll tell it like it
play
is.
that.
I'll tell it like it is. The mentality of my friend group, buddy of mine was in town for the Brewers Royals series, and he was giggling like Beavis and Butthead because I said tush on the air, because I had to talk about the tush push. He's like, he said tush.
Where's he from?
There goes the Murrow Award right there. What?
Where's he from?
You were
I
topical.
went to college with him at Madison, worked with him in Rhinelander, and now he works for the Royals.
All right.
Yeah, you'd think that we would be 54 going on 14.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah,
That's
but
our
tush,
mentality.
I mean, you know.
Yeah. He said booty.
Come on. Who is this guy?
That's just the way we are. We
right.
revert back to like 90s Beavis and Butthead talk.
So any of the
too late
owners'
now to
meetings that
grow.
were going on, and we changed replay,
Yes.
or not replay, we changed first down stuff.
Correct.
I want to see the device they use to measure this, or how this is going to look on TV.
Okay,
or
this is the question that I've posed to people, and then people pose to me. Do you want the human element? Maybe not, because of this. Everybody talks about how the Chiefs get favorable calls, whatever that things. But you take the human element out of it too, if you just go to like the beep, laser, whatever system. So I don't know. I don't know that. I don't have the full answer.
There's kind of a ceremonial feel to it when they
Yes.
bring the chains out and
Yes.
stretch it. Oh,
No.
not quite.
I
far
would
enough.
say that the NFL is a multi-billion-dollar business, and you're literally leaving up certain
It's
decisions to like
kinda
70-year-old
stupid.
dudes with a chain.
I've worked a chain gang, and
that ought to be a reality show.
Well, like I say, I shouldn't do things in front of people ever. But that, realize at that time how arbitrary it all
It
was.
is.
It's just
Did
totally.
you try to like toe the line and be,
Yeah.
like within like what was
Right.
the what do you call it? The margin of error?
Yeah.
Would you say like just minuscule?
I can't.
Oh, like where? Oh, put the marker there.
Like, how did you keep it
okay,
straight?
boy. Well,
Like if they asked you, they say, "Hey."
I would say it's 5 inches.
If they say,
at
Brian,
least.
come on out, we got to measure because it's third in inches or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, how, like, if it's your team, do you literally take a yard step in favor of your team? I mean,
Well, the
you could.
referee, marks a spot
Yeah.
on the chain
Yeah. And holds it.
that's, right there on a yard, and then they walk that and they put that on the corresponding spot on the hash mark in the field.
Yeah.
And so it's all on that. But
I have nervous
spotting
ticks,
the
though.
ball
I'd be like moving all over the place. I wouldn't be able to
Now
keep
you
it
have
straight.
nervous
I
ticks.
just-
Well, and you're standing next to Bob's vintage can collection, Lance. I don't know if I'd
I
want
was
you
already
there
told
anymore.
Carrie to
The
stay
sound
away from that
effects.
thing.
Yeah,
I just
I
about
just-
knocked it over on the
If
way
you're
in.
admitting to ticks, I think we need a safety first kind of thing.
This is crazy. These are all from 1976.
Would you
from the
bid on that, Lance?
bicentennial?
Yeah.
Maybe, but I know that there's some people out there that are just freaks about that stuff.
It's at $910
Yeah,
right
it's over
now.
$900, Lance.
Yes.
You got to know that.
You got any Billy beer while you're at it?
It was just 7-Up. It was just 7-Up.
7-Up,
We don't
okay.
have a beer can collection. Maybe next year.
I had a buddy that his dad had cans exactly like that, and it was like Billy beer, the United We Stand soda bottles, and you guys remember all this stuff, the 7-Up bottles with the or was it the Pepsi bottles with the big swoosh on them? I just remember this stuff. It was weird.
Sure.
I don't remember.
Absolutely.
Getting back to the first down, I think the most exciting thing about the new first down system is the sound that'll go along with it is it's going to be the old ColecoVision. That is a first down.
Everything comes back to Techno Bowl and ColecoVision. Everything.
Can it be the deflating Pac-Man if they don't get it?
Sure. Yeah.
Oh my word.
You said, are you worried about losing the human element? I don't care about the human element. I really don't.
Okay.
I want to get it right.
Yeah.
I want to get it right.
The only thing that was always weird
Now,
was,
there's going to be a downside to that, too, where it's going to come back and bite me. I know it is.
well, the whole thing was, okay, you had a roundabout idea on a TV screen, but it was a roundabout idea. So it's like people that play doctor. It's like, do you have a PhD? No, but I could tell that line was right. It's arbitrary.
Well, and that's what we've been told on TV is the line you see on your screen is not official.
Exactly.
So,
and people would go nuts about that
now,
stuff.
will it be official? Will we be hooked up to the same thing that the refs are using?
They will have almost like tennis, like a laser setup.
And is that going to be another logo on the screen? The Sony Hawkeye system? They'll be in there somewhere?
The NFL is a marketing machine, aren't they? It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Watch the draft stuff that's coming up in 3 weeks. It's going to be unbelievable. Everything. I went to Detroit last year. It is just bigger than big. Every single event that they do is a big deal, and it's going to be really cool for Green Bay, in my opinion.
The NFL ain't playing.
730,000 people in Detroit last year for the draft.
And my boys and I were 3 of those 730,000, yes.
And I don't know what the capacity of Green Bay is, and I don't know how you control it. If someone wants to go, they'll go, right?
Yeah. And I know hotel rooms.
Turn off the interstate.
Right. They can't just
block all the exits.
No.
Then you got people coming up.
They'll get 500,000 people there or some unbelievable
I think so.
number.
Even if they block off the interstates, they can still come by water.
Right.
They can airdrop.
Fly in. They can take the back roads.
Right.
They can
The
just
100
walk.
Parachuting in.
Yeah, they can come in through the UP.
Do we really?
It's almost indefensible.
Yes. It's
true.
Close to it.
Capacities on buses and ballrooms and
that good fun
everything.
stuff.
But how do you decide when you hit capacity in a city?
They've got space. I'm sure they'll block off on Oneida Street. I haven't seen the whole layout and stuff like that, but I'm sure they'll have room. I love the fact that they have that convention center up there, so they're going to put that to good use. But space will be a little bit of an issue, but I'm sure they've had multiple discussions.
It's the NFL. They really know how to. In all seriousness, they know what they're doing.
Yes,
but every now and then they have a
us.
game in Mexico and the field is a swamp, or
how about the rumor?
In Canada and the field's too short or something.
I don't know if the NFL was in on the Canada thing. That's like
I'll
the
give you
team
that.
set that up.
I was part of that. I was on the sideline for that thing, and we were literally getting messages by the minute of what was going on. And
Field's too small. Field's too small.
Yeah. We might play. We might not play. Okay, I guess we're going to play. All that stuff. Okay. John Kuhn and I on the air live.
You were working that, right?
I was.
So were you thinking, we're going to have to fill 3 hours?
It is the most uncomfortable feeling. Okay, and we don't plan a lot of stuff here, but you have a plan and you have a rundown, and and John and I had talked about certain things he was going to talk about, and all of a sudden the whole plan went out the window 15, 20 minutes before we were on the air.
Yeah.
So it's like riding a surfboard when the waves are all over the place, and you don't know if the game's going to happen, not going to happen,
How is
what they're going to do.
Too small. It's home to the Blue Bombers, right?
Yeah.
It was the hole in where the goalpost was.
The goalpost, the turf in the end zones, literally was coming. I kept watching Murphy, kept watching the coaches. It was just not a good situation.
And they eventually decided to play from the 10 to the 10, right?
Correct. And take those end zones out of the whole thing and not have guys run into goalposts and turf coming up. And it was crazy.
Because a Canadian field is bigger than an NFL field.
Right.
They
The
have
end zones
holes in bad
especially.
places.
And if you remember, that was LaFleur's first year, so a lot of the starters were going to play a handful of snaps. And it was literally everything we talked about went out the window 15 minutes before.
Right, and then they just turned it into a playground game.
Right.
All right.
Basically, it was.
Here we go. Hey, let's just give it a
garbage can as goalpost.
Yeah.
And blah, blah, blah.
Speaking of which, now I think they will have it a little more worked out, is one of the quiet things that came out of the NFL owners meeting. Packers got the marketing rights for Ireland, UK, Germany. Well, what does that mean? Marketing rights to Ireland. There's this rumor going around that they're going to play the Steelers in Dublin, Ireland.
That is the rumor.
Wouldn't you get the marketing rights for that?
Yeah.
So I think when the NFL schedule comes out, I think there's a pretty good likelihood.
It's supposed to be
marketing rights, like, so they're a team that's allowed to advertise.
Correct. Yeah, the NFL, and it's crazy how the NFL has to have certain...
The NFL is dividing up the world now.
Yes.
Oh boy.
Packers, you get this. Steelers, you get this.
It's like Trump.
I am done.
Like Mussolini and
Just like
Hitler.
Trump.
I am done worrying about can Green Bay hold all these people that are coming for the draft. They're dividing up the world.
They're coming.
All right.
Lance, one of the things I've been doing today with our guests, our special guests, of course, is taking questions from texters, and I have one now for you.
What was your question for Andy? You
My
did have one.
question for Andy from a texter was that when he was putting...
Oh, the hand grip, yes.
Yes, he lowered his grip and used a smaller putter.
Right.
And when did that start and why? And he gave us a great answer
Well, let's
for
hope
that.
this is as good.
It's
as
really
that.
good.
Okay.
It's really, really good.
Texter wants
from a
to
texter.
know. Wants to know.
Do you feel, Lance, that your devastatingly good looks have held you back from being taken seriously?
Oh, my word. Who put you up to this?
Texters want to know. Oh, I think you know. It's the fellow that gave you the soda.
Oh, my word. It's that guy? Oh, my word. Rock, what are you doing to me now? You got me back. Here I was saying all these nice things about you. Oh,
Don't
my
trust him.
word.
You
I
can't.
don't trust
You
him.
can't.
Yeah, he seems like a nice guy, but he's like a silent assassin, Carrie.
But seriously, let's have an answer that we all want to know.
Whoa, man. Well, once again, my knucklehead buddies, they thought that I didn't have any gray hair. Now, you guys can see I have gray hair.
It's
You're
minimal.
going gray like the rest of us, but it is minimal.
It's hanging in
It's
there. The lettuce
pretty
is hanging in there, so
And you
that
do
always
it-
helps.
Yeah,
All right.
it does help.
Moment of honesty here.
Yeah.
You're not using any.
No Grecian.
No, nothing.
No shoe
Ronald
polish.
Reagan
None of that
formula,
stuff.
right.
No.
Okay.
It's the real deal Holyfield, brother.
It's just.
You guys look better when you get grayer. It's fine. It's fine to
It
get
is.
graying.
If it goes, it goes.
It's gonna go.
I have a couple of friends whose hair is still their natural color. I'm going, and you don't do? No. He goes, no. It's just
My dad was
No.
like that into his almost
My
80s,
grandpa was
except
like
for his sideburns.
Yeah, my grandpa was almost. I mean, he had like jet black hair, and almost to the day he died, it was that way.
Thanks, Grandpa.
Yeah,
'Cause it's
exactly.
working
And
for
thanks,
you.
Texter.
Usually comes from Grandpa's side, doesn't it? That's what I've heard.
So is that a
I
yes
don't
or
know.
no? Have your devastatingly good looks
Held you back.
held you back?
How do you answer this? How do you answer this? I don't know. Man, oh man, this is just
And maybe
terrible.
none of us will ever know.
Whose opinion is this?
It's your
though? I mean,
opinion, has it? You know,
some people think I, got hit by a 2x4 upside the head. So you know what I mean?
Brian was just saying the other day.
Brian?
Who was the was it Charlize Theron?
Yes,
Said
who
it's
played
hard to be
Monster?
taken seriously as an actress if you're so good
right.
looking.
And didn't she have that? Yeah, the monster role where she literally
did
didn't wear makeup,
where it's like she had
gained
to
weight.
take her looks down a level so she could have a nice meaty role
Or uglied up. Either way.
to play.
Yeah.
She
Which
took
is like
pretty
just
down
like-
and uglied up.
Which is just like George Costanza in a wheelchair when he didn't have to be.
Yeah.
It's like, why are you doing this?
I'm getting typecast here, so now I feel like I have to play a role that I wasn't destined to play.
Oh.
You know what I mean? I
Don't
know,
do
might have
that.
to-
You're
no.
with us. Relax.
Exactly.
Getting back to sports, and that's why we have you here, is to get back to sports.
We are.
That Brewer pitching staff got absolutely massacred the first 4 games.
How big was Freddie Peralta yesterday?
Was that an anomaly? Because they've really pitched well the last couple of days.
They have. I mean, the injuries definitely affected them. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about
That
it.
seems to be what everybody says is.
And I would say at the beginning of this year, I would say yes. But Patrick's performance was huge. And then Freddie Peralta going 8 innings this early in the season yesterday, I think, in only 2 hits, I think those were monumental. I mean, you can't go overboard because, you don't win the World Series. You don't win the pennant. You don't win the division. You don't win anything this time of the year. But you can bury yourself so much that you're trying to, scramble back in it. I think those 2 performances were very, very crucial.
And I looked, and now with their 2 wins, there's probably one of 12 teams that have 1 or 2 wins in the majors right now. Like,
well, if they were in the AL Central, they'd be tied for first place
because everybody has 2 wins in the AL Central.
A buddy of mine who's a White Sox fan, he's like, I got to take a snapshot of this. They're never going to be in first place ever again the rest of the year. So yeah, it's early. I know it doesn't make for great sports talk radio or great arguments or whatever. I don't get that freaked out about it unless they were 0-6. If they were 0-6, it might be a little different scenario. But 2-4, they're still trying to work out combinations.
Is the torpedo bat a fad? Or is that going to be something that's...
What's funny is Aaron Judge didn't use it.
Right.
So
and the Yankees haven't done much with them since they saw the Brewers.
And it wasn't a popular opinion at the time, but you guys know me well enough that I'll say it, is... quite, and hopefully they'll be better the next time around. But Nestor Cortez and Connor Thomas, they needed to miss whatever bats they were using. They needed to miss those bats more often in order to have success. So, yeah, I don't know about it. The thing that I have more of a problem with, and I'm sure baseball purists will roast me for this, is that one porch in Yankee Stadium is so short.
Yes.
And I get the fact that
Parks... hitting home runs in Yankee Stadium. I mean, that's a tradition there.
I like to a degree the fact that baseball is different in different parks and different dimensions, but man, it just seems like they have such a huge advantage. Now, I know both teams play in the park, all that good fun stuff, but it was like the Cardinals back in the 80s when they had those turf teams that were super fast. You build your team for your park, and it just seems like they have a little bit of an advantage there with the way that park is constructed. That's just my opinion.
Well, the Brewers were built for power back then, remember?
Yes.
County Stadium?
Yes, they were.
Bambi's Bombers. It's we're going to beat you with home runs.
Absolutely.
Even though we had guys who could run.
Harvey's Wallbangers, all that good fun stuff.
And have you seen, speaking of the Brewers, the documentary, what's it called? Just a Bit Outside?
Just a Bit Outside, absolutely.
That's coming to streaming now, right?
Well done. Go out of your way to see it. If you lived in that era, you'll probably tear up. It'll get dusty. If you didn't live in that area, you will learn something. It's unbelievable. I knew, obviously, and you guys probably do too, most of the stories and most of the stuff, but it's just so well done. It's so good. Yeah. It really is. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
What's the time frame on that? I mean, from what year to what year approximately?
It's basically just they talk a little bit about the ramp up of how they got better, but it mainly deals with like that early 80s era when they got to like 82. Yeah. That magical season.
That was the year.
That was the year. And
I still remember it. The last game of the season, they had a doubleheader in Baltimore. It came down to it. They had a 4-game series with the Orioles. They lost the first 2. They needed one more win to get in.
Yeah.
And they lost a Friday doubleheader. They lost on Saturday. And it came down to the Sunday game. Don Sutton was pitching for the Brewers, and I thought, Don Sutton is not going to. This is why they got Don Sutton. He's not going to lose this game.
This is total old fart radio, but that was back when a lot of games weren't on television, and for whatever reason.
That one was.
Yes. But for whatever reason, typical of Wisconsin, my dad had projects that we had to get done on Sunday, so we're out in the garage working on stuff. Really? But we were listening to it at the rate, and I can still picture Euchre's calls. Like Yount was huge in that game.
He had a home run, right? Or
yes,
he had 2?
Yeah, I think he had 2, and he made a great catch and all. And he was huge in that game, and the way Sutton pitched. And I remember saying to my dad, the Brewers are going to the AL Central, ALCS, and it's a vivid memory, but it's like the only memory that radio can paint. It's the picture of the theater of the mind, if you know what I mean.
Sure, we do.
Because I never saw that game until maybe later or whatever.
Does everybody remember that White House in the background in Baltimore? That was supposedly
the old stadium.
That the Orioles had them paint white so opponents couldn't see the ball.
Yes.
There's no pitcher's eye back then.
Isn't that something?
Or batter's eye, excuse me.
Right. Isn't that something? All the little tricks
that was
of the
back when you could see a neighborhood out in the outfield of a baseball park.
Hey, that's Madden's house.
Right.
Look at his crib over there. Yeah, let's hit that thing.
But there was that White House out there.
The days of seeing over the outfield fence into anything.
Isn't that something? Those old pictures where people, like little kids, are up on like other kids' shoulders and stuff like that, watching games.
Up the hill to the VA here.
Yeah. You know what's like that is Tiger Stadium in Detroit. You can walk right past. You can walk right past, and you can see portions of the field. It's actually pretty cool.
Really?
It really is.
They do that. They did that on purpose, obviously.
They did. It's actually kind of an homage to a bygone era. Yeah.
What are you guys doing to spool up for the Final Four? Because you'll have those games coming up this weekend. We will have those games. We're basically
talking about the other night I made a sarcastic joke. Imagine that. All the connections. You got Con Knipple.
People don't hear what you say with those devastating good looks.
That's why it's so hard to take you seriously.
Do we take Rock's opinion seriously? Come on.
As soon as he said that, as soon as I heard the word devastating, I knew exactly what the next word was going to be. Good looks.
Yep.
Yeah.
But Con Knipple, Wisconsin Lutheran product for Duke.
Yes.
You got Houston. He's Kelvin Sampson was a Bucks assistant. And then you go to well, now I'm spoiling the joke because Auburn, you got Bruce Pearl, UW Milwaukee, and then Florida. I just say there's a bunch of snowbirds down there from Wisconsin, so there's your connection to Florida. But literally, you have connections on 3 of the 4 teams, which is kind of cool. And all 1 seeds. First time since 2008, and last time was also in San Antonio.
Who would you take out of the 4? Who would you, if you were going to
I picked Duke, even though I don't like
college
Duke.
Funds, everything have to go on this. Everything.
You and
I
Tim
got 3 in college, so thanks a lot. I don't like Duke, but I picked Duke. Let's put it that way.
I just don't know who's going to beat them.
I don't either.
They've lost 3 games all year.
They just look really good, and anybody can be beaten. I mean, you got 4 1 seeds in this thing. But I think they're really
They
good.
just seem so loaded.
What happened to Auburn being the one-east? You just said that a couple days ago.
I did.
Auburn was the
You know what?
one-east.
They're not even the favorite.
No.
That's what shocked me.
What
Like
happened?
Duke's a 4.5-point favorite. You know, we should have Tim on now because he'd know all this stuff. Duke is a 4.5-point favorite over Houston. I couldn't believe it when I saw the opening line that Florida's like a 2.5-point favorite over Auburn. I don't know. Maybe somebody's smarter than me and whatever, but I just thought that was kind of shocking. I don't know.
Duke and Florida are the favorites
in their games. Yes.
Must be the hunger because they've both been deprived of championships for so long.
Oozing with sarcasm.
It's obvious now you're
Oozing with
saying.
sarcasm on that front.
Lance, thanks for coming in and helping us out with the MACC Fund.
No problem. Anything for Rock.
We appreciate it.
He's devastatingly handsome.
You are a very active local personality with the MACC Fund.
I am.
Over the years.
Love, and obviously it's fun to play in the MACC Fund golf outing, and my buddy sponsors that or whatever. But doing all the MACC Fund stuff. One of the MACC Fund kids lives directly across the street from us, and that's when it really hits home to me. To get serious for a minute is like all of a sudden you realize somebody that you know extremely well, somebody that your daughter babysat for.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
It hits home, and she's doing great.
Okay.
And she's a ball of energy, and it's great to see the success stories. But the reason why we do this is because, other kids are still hurting and suffering. So got to keep pushing on.
Pushing on. Money for research.
Yep.
Spend it, people.
Well, at least do them a favor and keep your yard in good shape. So when
it's already greened
up. Have you been chased by anything lately? Have you chased the geese around or anything this spring?
Not recently, but I'm sure Rock will scour all my social media channels to see the next time I take a 9-iron after something.
We'll find it.
Lance, thanks for coming by. Appreciate it.
No problem.
Lance
anytime.
Allen from CBS 58. It's the Bob and Brian MACC Fund Radiothon on the Hog.